What is up, home care leaders? This is Lucas Carroll from the Business of Senior Care coming to you today to talk about another state where a client of ours just got their home care license. Today is the great state of Washington. Just got their home care license recently and just wanted to share the experience if you or if someone that you know is going to be going through the Washington process or in the future is going to kind of some tips and what to look for and how to navigate the process. You may have heard in the past just how difficult it might have been to get a home care license in Washington, which is one of the more regulated states. But for the application process was a smooth and great experience from beginning to end with the Department of Health. And I just wanted to share some of the information. You can see here, our time frame was 57 days, which is really good. This is the time from when the application was submitted to the license was issued. So that processing time in working with folks in Washington before, we've heard months, and they even have a disclaimer when you go through the process that if your application has not been approved within a 9-month time frame, that they're going to kick it out and you have to start the process over. So 57 days is a great time, and super excited for this client to be able to open their doors and provide care. We'll start on the left-hand side here just for some tips. Every state is unique about their licensure process, and Washington is no different. Washington does have a requirement for the owner, if they're going to be submitting an application for a license, to attend an orientation class. This is pretty unique in that it's administered by the Department of Health. The Department of Health does this course. It happens once a month, typically in the first or second week in the month. And a member from the in-home services survey team hops on the call and walks you through what it's like to go through the licensure process, where you can find the regulations, some tips on helping to get through the process. So it is a requirement and it's a few hour long class. It's a requirement for you to have that certificate in order to submit that with your application. And it's good information. It's a good start off for your relationship with the health department, and just overall nice. But it is a requirement, and it's only offered once a month. So if you miss it, you have to wait till the next month in order to submit your application. Next on here, kind of interesting, you do select which counties that you want to serve in Washington. And when you first start, you can only apply for however many counties, however many people are on your application. So it is possible just as one person to submit an application, but if you just have one person on your application, then you can only submit an application for one county. If you have two people, you can submit two counties, etc. The point of that is to try and limit the number of home care companies in each county based on the size of the office, which makes sense, but that's a nuance there. Unique to Washington, although some other states do that, is you have to mail in your application. So you have to print everything out, put it all in order. You have to attach your check, and you have to send it off into the Department of Health in Olympia. And what I would request is just a delivery receipt, just to make sure it gets to the right person. It's a big Department of Health, it's a big building, making sure it gets to the right person. Also, you have to have a Washington UBI number. So in some states, you have to have a local business license. In Washington, the business license is issued through the state. You have to put in your local information, but this UBI is processed through the state, and you have to have it in order to get your application. And last, which I've already touched on, you can get through it with one person. So what are the steps if you're looking at doing the process? What are the steps to get through? As I mentioned, number one, you have to mail in your application along with the check. And what you're going to get back is a letter from the health department. So they're going to take a look at the application, and if everything looks good, they're going to send back a email with a PDF, and it's going to have on there a short form deficiency checklist. And this it could be a number of pages. It's pretty standardized because they haven't asked for any of the information yet. It's 16 pages long. But basically, they're just asking for a long list of your policies and documents that they want to review. So you have to complete the deficiency checklist, indicate what page number each form and policy is located on, send it back along with all of your policies that are requested in order. they're going to review that. Takes them about a week or so to review that. Then they send back a notification that they're looking for they also want a bill of rights. I didn't mention that. There's a specific policy and document that they want to see for a client bill of rights. And then they're going to ask for additional items like a sample record for your client, personnel file, service agreement, and care plan to make sure it has the correct documentation on that. You're going to send that back. And then the last step in the process is they're going to reach out to set up a 30-minute Zoom call. And what might be surprising is there's not a full-blown on-site survey, but this 30-minute Zoom call is really just an introduction from the surveyor to the owner, home care owner, about Washington-specific practices and forms. What the current infection control and vaccination policy is, what TB testing looks like, how to perform a background check, just a set of documents that is specific to Washington and home care companies that they walk through. Just verify all the information and address on your application, and that's it. And then they issue your license. The full-on on-site survey happens after your 1 year recertification process. They come out and do that. But what might be surprising is it doesn't happen during this initial one. So that whole process took this most recent client 57 days. It was fairly straightforward. It did help to have everything in order and organized and prepared. Otherwise, it can take many, many months. So if you have any questions or you know somebody that needs assistance going through the Washington home care process, please reach out.